Hi everyone, I'm Lynn Prowse-Bishop and this is the Virtual Business Show. Today I want to talk about whether you're killing your online reputation by the way that you interact and engage using social media. Now, I want to start by saying I am not a social media guru or expert in any way, shape or form, but I did start my practice before LinkedIn, Google+, Facebook and Twitter were all the rage, and I've watched it grow and morph over the years. We've also experienced firsthand in my family the damage that social media can do to people, and recently at my daughter's school, a girl was expelled in her grade directly because of her behaviour online. I removed myself from Twitter because of the growing trend for people to use it to abuse each other, force their opinions on others, and even incite and encourage suicide. And I've sat back and watched a new generation of virtual assistants who've grown up with social media, tablets and smartphones, and who use it to do little more than push themselves and their offering rather than use it to engage, and some who seriously bring our industry into disrepute because of their online behaviour. So I really just want to talk about my observations of what's been taking place in these social media spaces rather than lay out a set of hard and fast rules for how to avoid killing your online reputation. So by social media, I'm talking about LinkedIn, which began in 2002, Facebook, which began in 2004 and was open to the public in 2006, Twitter, which started in 2006, and Google+, which started in 2011. Now, those years are just so that you can see how long these spaces have actually been around. So in the scheme of things, we're now 2014, they really haven't been around that long. Sometimes we get so enmeshed in the tech around us that we forget we haven't always lived with it. Looking at those years, relatively speaking, it really hasn't been around very long. And I actually left MySpace off there because VAs tend not to use it, but it started in 2003. So social media in this context is referring to any of those spaces where you are followed or where you follow. Now I'll talk mainly about Facebook and a little about Google+, but what I say can equally be applied in the other spaces as well. Now, a number of VAs use their Facebook and Google+ profiles to make the primary connections with followers and not a page. So what I mean by that is they haven't actually set up a business page, they're just using their personal profile. If you're using your profile and you're connecting to clients and prospects there, I would strongly suggest that you switch over to a business page. If you can't or don't want to, then you need to be vigilant about how you use your profile if you've got clients and colleagues connecting to you there. And I don't know about you, but when you get over 20 friends on your profile, you kind of start to forget who's actually watching you. On Google+, you don't get the opportunity to approve or decline followers, so any post that you make that includes the public circle is going to go to those people following you, and you may not know who they are. Plus, even if you customise your post to go to certain circles, it may be shared beyond the bounds you actually intended if it's reshared or someone else is mentioned in a comment to your post unless you lock it down. You need to really be mindful of your personal brand. We're living in an age where your online personal brand is vital to your success. Colleagues, potential clients, employers, they're all Googling people that they hear about. You need to give some serious thought to what your online brand looks like. If you're using your Facebook profile for business connections, mind your profile picture, your posts, and even who you connect with, unless you're vigilant about using lists and customising your posts. And from my experience, no one is 100% vigilant 100% of the time, and sometimes it only takes once. So think about what sort of picture that you're using for your profile. That sexy selfie that you've taken or the one that you've taken flaked out over a table of empty cocktail glasses might seem fine unless you're using your profile to attract potential clients. And what about the pictures of those you connect with? I was having a bit of a coaching session with my cousin the other day, who is a consultant providing sales training, management and leadership coaching and personal development. And he wanted to venture into Facebook for his business. He was only on for a short time, then he deactivated his account. And when I asked him why, his response was, I was getting connection requests from old school friends, and when I accepted them, I noticed some of their profile pictures were just shocking. And I asked myself, what would I think if I was a potential client and I came to my profile and saw those sitting there? What does that say about me? Now that may not be fair, but my father used to say you're judged by the company you keep. We might not think that it's fair, but it really is true, and it's just as true today as it was back then when he said it to me. Think about that and who you're connecting with on your profile if you're using it for business, and how those connections might reflect on you and your brand. If you connect with clients or colleagues, be sure to use lists. Allocate each of your friends to a list, which are circles in Google+, just to limit your audience for questionable posts. Then make sure you customise those posts and pictures you don't necessarily want your work colleagues or clients to see by excluding those lists from the posts and pictures. You can probably see now why having a business page is preferable for making business connections than using your profile. There is far less work. Now, I won't actually go into how you do this, setting up lists, customising posts, securing pictures, profiles, and all that sort of thing, but there are loads of resources on Facebook in particular about how to do it via your account and security settings. Google Plus is a bit more straightforward in that every time you craft a post, you've got the opportunity to add or remove circles from the post and to email your connections directly. So there you need to be sure you have people assigned to various circles. Remember though, that if you maintain the public circle in your post, it will go to anyone following you who you may not be following back, and therefore have assigned to a circle. And of course, people can reshare if you don't lock the post down. The default Google Plus position is to send all your circles, all your information, unless you remove them. For Facebook and even for Google Plus, I'd suggest that you set up a business page if you've not already done so, and use that to connect with clients and potentials, and reserve your profile for connecting with friends and family only. Remove clients or prospects from your profile and ask them to join you on your business page instead. Next, you need to really think about what you're posting. Use the 5-3-2 rule. So 5 posts on sharing other info you find that might be of interest to your followers, 3 posts on your business and your offering, 2 on personal stuff or your personality and interests, so that people get to know a little bit more about you as a person and who you are. This highlights that primarily it's not always about shining the light on you. Look at me, look at me. It seems to be what everybody's doing these days, and unfortunately that doesn't do you any favours in business. You need to be authentic. Many clients actually look for virtual assistants that they can connect with personally, so adding that bit of a personal touch to your posts is very important, particularly if you have somebody who's looking for someone with similar interests. Now imagine that all a potential client sees is you complaining about this or that, or saying nothing but, "I'm great, pick me," but hear nothing about your values or what you stand for or your interests. So when you think about it like that, it changes your mindset about how you're going to actually post and what you're going to post. But do be careful what you post, read the personal stuff. If you have a meltdown over something in your personal life, or you get into an online flame war, or some other disappointment occurs and you pour it out over Facebook, here's where those lists you allocated people to are going to come in handy. We're all entitled to an emotional breakdown from time to time, but you definitely don't want your clients and prospects seeing it. So if you do post that kind of stuff, make sure you customise that post. Always favour engagement over promotion on your page. Use your site or blog to push out your message, not social media exclusively or primarily. We all think we're brilliant. That's human nature, but people still like to do business with those they see as open-hearted, with goodwill and flexibility, who are into shining the spotlight on others, customers, partners, colleagues or staff, not always shining it on themselves, and who share openly with no expectation of gain. This is particularly true in Australia, where we have the tall poppy syndrome. And I'm sure you all know what that is, but there was, for any of our overseas listeners, there was an interesting Australian definition that was commented upon by Peter Harcher, who's a political and international editor of the Sydney Morning Herald. Now he says, Australian citizens know that some among them will have more power and money than others, but according to the unspoken national ethos, no Australian is permitted to assume that he or she is better than any other Australian. How is this enforced? By the prompt corrective of levelling derision. It has a name, the tall poppy syndrome. The tallest flowers in the field will be cut down to the same size as all the others. This is sometimes misunderstood. It isn't success that offends Australians. It's the affront committed by anyone who starts to put on superior airs. Valerie Khoo, who is from The Age in Melbourne, said that personal branding is a terrific opportunity to promote your business inexpensively, but you must be authentic, letting people know what you stand for, what your expertise is, and what your business is about. Don't be frightened to let your personality come out, but be mindful of your target market and what will resonate with them and turn them off. So let's put the social back into social media. How about sharing some interesting things your colleagues are posting? There's a definite lack of this happening in social media of late. It's almost like virtual assistants are scared to share something a colleague's posted in case it detracts from them in some way, or a prospect might go scurrying off to them instead of using you. Having said that, you also need to be mindful of what you are sharing. It might seem funny to you, but if you have a prospect or client on your profile, what will it seem like to them? So that brings us to thinking about what your connections are posting. On Facebook currently, and the way we all know they change the rules, who can keep up, but at the moment, if you like a comment or a post or a page or a picture that one of your connections has posted, this can show up in your friends' news feeds. At the moment, the default position on Facebook is that you see everything when you friend someone. So their life events, status updates, photos, games, comments, likes, music videos, and all their other activity. You have to manually switch these off under the like settings over on their profile. This actually caused a bit of a kerfuffle in my own online sphere when a friend was liking posts made by a page that was all about fast cars and bikini-clad buxom women draped over them. It became a little disconcerting and ended up way too much for one friend who publicly asked how he blocked someone's likes from his newsfeed. So I privately messaged him how to do it, but given the person knew he was talking about them, there was a bit of a nasty unfriending experience that went on after that, and it all got a bit ugly. Now, pretend you're actually a potential client of that person and your newsfeed fills up with images you would never normally like or share yourself. How does that make you feel about that person? It led to one of my friends wanting to block them. You don't want a client or prospect feeling that way about you, so be mindful about the things your friends post that you then like or share. Okay, so that kind of covers clients and prospects on social media, but what about your colleagues? Depending on how you behave on social media, you can do some serious damage to your online reputation based on how you deal with your colleagues as well. We'll talk about those aspects of killing your online reputation with colleagues in our next show, and also some ideas or guidelines for avoiding the pitfalls. Until then, I'm Lynn Prowse-Bishop. Thanks so much for listening.